Okay, let's record a vlog. So how's it going? I'm still here, doing all right. I missed a day because yesterday was a snow day. I guess that's what you call it. We don't really have those here. But my daughter was off school, and my plan for the day was just, shot. Just had to get by. She's off of school today too. But I woke up early and just got started because it's tough when she's home to do stuff like this. I can do some things, but a lot of it involves a lot of negotiation with her because she wants a lot of attention. It's the way kids are. It's still cold here, and I've got 3 calls today. The call started on Tuesday because, like I said before, Monday was a holiday, and so Tuesday was the first day I could really start doing calls. But then she got off early on Tuesday because of the cold, and was off yesterday, Wednesday, and it's off today. So I actually feel like it's still Christmas vacation. We didn't go anywhere for vacation. We stayed home, which was great. We all wanted to stay home. But I couldn't get much work done. Here and there I got some done, but it didn't feel like a solid day of work ever. And here I am again. No school for my daughter, so dealing with that. Hopefully the weather will change. The sun is out, but it was out yesterday too. It's not going to do anything. It's just cold. The north is blasting us. I was looking at the radar yesterday. It was like 19 degrees here, which is nuts. We don't know what to do at 19 degrees. Roads are icy. We don't know how to drive. It's dangerous. Like you really shouldn't if you don't have to. We don't know how to walk on ice or snow. People are just like, whoa, and they just slip. We don't have the shoes for it. We don't have the equipment. We don't have a snow shovel. Like, we just don't have stuff. It didn't snow that much, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, we don't have gloves sometimes, it's like we just don't know what to do. But I was looking at the radar, and it's like this, like the temperature map of the radar. There's this big blue thing up in Canada, and then there's like a triangle sticking out straight to me, straight to New Orleans. And of course, Florida is still yellow and red, but this big blue triangle that ends in New Orleans, that's where I was. So it was actually colder in New Orleans than in, Massachusetts and in New York, and which is it's totally not the way it usually is. I don't know what's going on, but this cone just came down and hit us. Anyway, all right, let's talk about business. The calls have been going great. It's 30 minutes. I've developed some questions to ask people, but very quickly it goes off of the questions. And some people have some really great suggestions for the site. Of course, there's just features that I need to add. That's it. For instance, someone wanted to be able to see to start a video back where they left off. So they got, it's a 30-minute video, they got interrupted, their laptop crashed or something like that, and 2 days later they come back and they forgot what they were doing. Like, what lesson was I on? What video was I on? What minute of the video was I at when I stopped? So I'm gonna start tracking that somehow. I could start with just like the last thing you did. So like, I don't know, every minute just tell the server, hey, it's at this minute on this video, and then if you open the app, it'll show you like you're here, right? Yeah, that seems like a good first thing. It would be cool to have the history, right? It was like, hey, you finished this one to this point, you finished this one to this point. And you know what? Wistia should have some of this too. So I might be able to just get it from Wistia. Though that might make it harder later if I want to get rid of Wistia, because Wistia is expensive. I should probably do it myself. I mean, it's not that much. It's just another endpoint, another API endpoint, another bit of metadata on the user. There's some issues with like scrolling on the notes. The notes can get really long, and I've got some JavaScript thing on there that like when you click on a link, it scrolls you up to the top of the page. And so even if you click on a link and open it in another tab, when you come back to that tab, you're at the top of the page, which is not good. I don't know what to do about that. I have to find that JavaScript, which is something probably that something else is importing. Welcome to WordPress. But then it could also be that what I want is, as you scroll down, the headings have an ID so that they're hash addressable, and as you scroll down, that hash will go into the URL, so that if you do have to reload, you get back to the section you were in. That would be cool. I think that would be a better solution, although I feel like the browser should be taking care of that. Okay, also maybe a table of contents, because they do get long, and so something that just is like fixed on the side as you scroll down, that just shows you where you're at and what other sections are around, so you can jump around more easily, something like that. Those are all really great ideas. It seems that the people I've talked to so far want real world apps, and so I had the idea of just doing a blog, just to start from scratch, build the blog. Nothing fancy, just build a blog, and not script it. That's, I think, the problem with some of my videos, my earlier ones at least, is I would script things and make it like so super, like this is the way to do it, right? But then you never make any mistakes, and people don't see the real process of like, how do you think about this thing? They just see the pieces and how they fit together. So it's kind of like showing you following Lego instructions, giving the instructions, versus how do you design a new Lego thing, which is what most people are trying to do. Is they're trying to make up their own model out of Lego, and they could sit and play, make a little thing, right? But like, how do you make the big thing out of Lego? And so that's what Clojure gives you, right? A bunch of Lego pieces. You can put them together how you want. They're all composable and stuff. And then you have this big problem of, well, what do you do with that? You just give me a box of Legos. Yeah, I also had this. I've been experimenting with the learning paths, so they're not perfect right now. I just had my assistant copy them from the last year's calls that I did, where I sent people PDFs. So he just pulled them out of the PDFs, put them on a web page, and so that's a year ago. So it's old content. Like, it doesn't have all the new content, and they're not quite polished enough, most of them, to actually show to people. They're just very basic things. So I've been, as people have been saying, oh, I want to learn web development, I'm like, ooh, I got to do the web development learning path. So that's good, right? Because I'm actually, it's actually showing me where the demand is. So I've got that written down as a note. Another thing is I had this idea for the content for another course is how to use a relational database in Clojure. Like, of course, yes, you use something like Hug SQL that lets you just type SQL. So, assuming you know SQL, it is the best thing right now. But that's only the technical question. There's also the sort of more engineering or architectural question, which is, so you've built this data model out of vectors and hash maps and, things like that. How do you get that into a database? What shape of tables do you want, right? So, and then how do you get it back out? And like, how do you effectively construct this database with its queries and everything so that it is Clojure-esque, right? It is refreshing. If you've got a lot of experience, it is refreshing to just get rid of all the ORM and everything and just get data right out of the database and just have it raw, It's refreshing for someone who's been like living with the corner cases and the gotchas of ORMs for a long time. But I can also see for a new person, it's very intimidating. It's like, what? You're not giving me any help, right? So I want to give that help. And it's really all about process, right? That's my main thing. My main insight is it's the process. People don't know how to do it. They might know all the technical pieces. They know every Lego and how it looks and how its shape and everything. But then how do you start from, I have this feature, I have this idea, I want to make it work. I want to make it happen. What's the process? That is the missing piece in the Clojure world. It's just no one is talking about it. Even when they look back on it, they're like, "Oh, this is what I built. Look what it does, right? Look how it works." It's like, no, but how did you arrive there? How, if you had to do it again, what steps would you go through to get from there to here? So that's my main advantage, and I'm sharing it with you, but I just don't think anyone else is going to do it. No one is watching this thing anyway. You're watching it, thank you. I just mean not a lot of people are watching it. You'll probably see me drinking this a lot. This is yerba mate. My wife is from Argentina, and so I've spent time in Argentina, so I got used to drinking this. Did you hear that? This mate is well used, but it's the perfect size for like one person or two people who want to share a mate, because that's what you do. You share them. And let me give you a little peek into that. See, it's got dried leaves. These are yerba leaves, and they're ground up, and there's also, the leaves have little stems, so there's little bits of stem in there too, little bits of stick. And you put this in there. This is like a straw. It has a filter at the end. Can't move it once it's in there because it's got to be in the right place. And if you move it, you disturb the structure of the thing that gets created, and it's going to mess it up. But you pour hot water from a thermos, or you could do it directly from a tea kettle if you got that handy. And you pour it in like this, right onto where the straw is, and it creates like a little well in there. You see it's got some bubbles. That's a good sign. It means you got a good temperature, a good mix. And you serve it around in a circle, or you just enjoy. Not too hot. It's not boiling water. Just pour it in there. It's probably too hot to drink by itself, but pouring it in and it's sitting there for a second makes it perfect. And then close up this if you're not going to have too many in a row. and this can last, all morning. All right. So I don't have any more business things to talk about. I wish I did, but I've just been taking care of my daughter mostly and trying to get these calls, keep her quiet during the calls. People seem to be okay with seeing a kid running behind. I mentioned her during the call, like, oh, there she is, isn't she cute? That kind of thing. She's off of school, etc. Anyway, it's great talking to customers. I'm learning so much about them. They're all different, which is also cool. And it's very motivating. Makes me want to go and code something or, show a lesson. All right, I do have business things. I want to be the functional programming guy. There is no functional programming person yet. I say guy, or I want to be the guy, but there's no girl, right? There's no person. And I feel like it's ripe for the taking. No one is really there right now. And I am simply falling behind on the creation of the content, because that's what it is, right? It's just like broadcast. I'm the guy. Here's my stuff. Read my thing. I just need to be doing that way more than I am. And so I'm trying to get... So my assistant came up with this idea because he's working full-time this year. I don't know if I mentioned that before. He's been working, 16 months, 17 months maybe. Part-time, so half-time, 20 hours a week, and now he's on full-time and twice as much work that he could do. But of course I haven't been able to give him enough tasks because it's just the first month that he's doing this, and I've been basically still on vacation. Still feels like Christmas vacation. Okay, so he came up with this idea of transcribing the talks that don't have a transcription. I don't know if that's a great idea, but I'm giving it a shot. It's his idea, and he did a pretty good job. He needs a little more guidance on like how to format them, how I would like them formatted. But I'm going to give him another one to do. Right now he's putting the slides right into the text, which I think is awesome too. Like you can read it and see the diagrams and whatever I've got. But I need transcripts. Like I've just been thinking about it all the time. Amazon has a new thing called AWS Transcribe, which I'm now in the beta of. And like I have 60 hours of content and maybe 10 of them are transcribed. Maybe. I don't even think it's that much. I want captions, I want transcriptions, I want more text that's searchable, because I feel for SEO it's really important. And so it's just a matter of, getting a process so I can do 60 hours of it. I can't type that much. I don't want to be the one to do it. I don't think he can handle all of that by himself. But I want him to do the whole process and do it a few times to polish it. And then what we can do is use something, either a paid service, like a human service like Rev or Casting Words, have them transcribe it, do a first pass. It's about $1 a minute. So I've costed that out for 60 hours or for 50 hours. It's like $3,000, $3,500. It's a lot of money. And I've seen the output that they have. It's pretty good. It's also, you can have it in caption form. So it's like timed. So you can put it in the video and have it show up. But if you do it in caption form, you just get a big block of text when you get the transcript. There's no paragraphs. So someone has to go through and make the paragraphs. And so that's what I would have him do. So that would let him scale. And, Rev.com could probably handle all 60 hours at once. Probably not give me all of them back in 1 week, but I could start getting them back faster than we could actually process them. And that would give a ton of SEO things, SEO credit, or whatever you call it, juice, Google juice, just to have more text on those pages, polish it up. Some of those things have not been written as articles, so that text could turn into articles. And so I just feel like it's an avenue that is scalable to the scale that I need to be at, and affordable. I mean, $3,500 is a lot of money when you think of it as a big chunk, but if you think of it as it's actually enhancing hundreds of pages on my site, like, it makes sense. It makes sense. We just need to rev that up. I need to train him up in how to make them readable and nice. And of course, part of that is the technical content, and it's coming together. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and experiment. I'm not just like analyzing it to death, but I've done the experiments, and when they come back, there are issues with the technical language used. Like, if I mention a variable name in the video, like, or a div, I'll say div, an HTML div, and it just doesn't, like, they don't know what that word is, right? And so they don't capitalize it right, or they don't, it's code, right? So it should be in a code thing, and I can teach that to a person that I trust and am investing in. A service like Rev.com, you just send it to them, and they've got an army of people doing it. So anyway, this is a good investment for the future of getting all my stuff transcribed. Of course, transcriptions and captions are great for people who have hearing trouble or are not native English speakers, because they might not be able to hear what I'm saying, or understand the way I say it, my accent or whatever, or the speed I say it at, and they can read. And so there you go. Okay, awesome. I'm going to see you tomorrow.